Alrighty, hey folks, this is Sherman Ray, and this is In God We Still Trust. I want to welcome you all to the broadcast. Hope everybody's doing well today. This is a start of another week, Lord God, and I'm sorry, I'm always thinking about the Lord all the time. Kind of a slip there, but it's all good. We started the show a few weeks back, and one of the things we want to do is we want to try to be as regular as we can about getting the podcast out there. So, folks, it's a work in progress, and I hope that you enjoy it. If you'd like to, and you're just checking out the show for the first time, you're on our YouTube channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and make sure that every time we have one of these broadcasts that you're able to get in on the show. And also, we'd also encourage you, if you want to write to us, just write to us in God We Still Trust 1 at gmail.com, in God We Still Trust at gmail.com. That'd be great. You're also going to be able to see this on Godstream TV, which is really excited. I'm very excited to be a part of the Godstream network. And so just go to godstreamtv.com or go to godstream.org. And you can actually get to the show, and that'd be really cool. So what do we do on the show? What do? We basically kind of highlight some of what's going on in the Christian culture. We highlight people that are out there in the political realm, and we also we try to highlight what the foundation of the Bible was, the foundation of this country was, and so. So this is what the foundation of the nation was right here, guys. Was the Bible. So, and on this particular broadcast, we're going to talk a lot more about Charlie Kirk. And Charlie Kirk had a profound impact on the youth. He had a profound impact on the election of 2016 and then 2020 and 2024. He was just, and when he was assassinated just like less than a week ago, folks, it left a stain on America. I mean, it left a stain on America that it's still reverberating today. And that's what we're going to talk about in the show today. So let's take a real quick break, folks, and we'll come back. We're going to talk a little bit about what kind of effect Charlie Kirk had on this country and what is going on with the nation. This is Pastor Sherman Ray for In God We Still Trust. We'll be right back. Okay? I really love that song. I really do. Well, folks, once again, this is Pastor Sherman Ray, and this is In God We Still Trust. Hey, folks, you can actually check out our online presence also on Facebook. I forgot to even tell you about that. So we're on Facebook. So we actually do have a page. It's called In God We Still Trust. And so don't forget to put In God We Still Trust, because we want you to be able to get to the page and everything else like that. And we're starting to develop a following. And we encourage you, go ahead and join the page. Yeah, join the page In God We Still Trust. We update it regularly and put on it all kinds of news and updates and stuff like that. And so, and once again, if you've got any comments you'd like to tell us about, just go ahead and if you're on your YouTube channel, I'm going to go over to our YouTube channel in just a second here, folks. And if you'd like to get in on the conversation on our YouTube channel, we encourage you to be a part of that. And it's In God We Still Trust. And so I'm going to go over there right now, as a matter of fact, and get in on the conversation. But if not, and you just want to get in on the, you just want to write to us, go ahead and write to us In God We Still Trust 1 at gmail.com. That's In God We Still Trust 1 at gmail.com. And so, okay, so I'm there at the page right now, and there we go. And we encourage you to get in on the page. So there you go. All right, we're up. All right, but if you would like to get in on the conversation, we'd love to have you in on the conversation. while we're up, and we'll come back on the later on. And if you left any questions, guys, guess what? We will answer your questions. So there was so I don't know if you knew about this, and many of you knew, Charlie Kirk, who was the founder of Turning Point USA, was assassinated on 9/11 just of last week, and it just set off a firestorm on the blogosphere. It said and not just on the internet, but globally, and it just impacted so many people, from sports figures to political figures to mom and pop to, guess what, guys, doctors, lawyers, school teachers, anybody who was everybody. As a matter of fact, today, if you were watching any kind of the news today, you found out that a lot of people are getting fired, a lot of them. And why? Because these are some evil sons of guns, man. I mean, just evil folks who were excited about Charlie Kirk being killed. They were jumping and saying the most heinous things. There was actually a report of several reports of one guy. He went over to the memorial for Charlie Kirk and was dancing all over and kicking all the flowers and everything else. Well, that didn't last very long, because they had people who came up and grabbed him and threw him to the ground. He was arrested for that. But this is the climate that we live in right now in America, and it's a scary place to be at. I mean, it's a very scary place to be at. Charlie Kirk, if nothing else, he left a mark on America. And when he died, many people thought, oh, it's over with. There's nothing else. Nothing else. He's just gone. But Turning Point USA and his wife Erica said, get this, they had 37,000 applications to start Turning Point chapters in their colleges. This is amazing, guys. And no, this isn't just like, a couple of people said, hey, we want to do something for the cause. 37,000 more applications for people who want to be a part of the movement. You see, Charlie Kirk was more than just he's just more than a talking head like me, right? He's more than just a pastor like me and a lot of other pastors. He was a modern day evangelist who started a movement among the youth. And I'll tell you, the word says, out of the mouth of babes, right? Out of the mouth of babes come this thing, I would say it's a lion's roar. And I don't believe that the people on the left really realize what happened when Charlie Kirk died. When he was assassinated, it literally offended people's spirit to the point where you've got youth who maybe never thought about going to church before said, I'm going to church now. You have people who said that, I'm not going to, I've never thought about attending a political rally. I want to go to the first thing that's going on. Because guess what? Our hero, a guy who was just speaking his mind, was cut down in the prime of his life at 31 years of age. Charlie Kirk was assassinated by a lone gunman, one bullet, for just speaking the truth. And not just any old truth. He was speaking about the gospel. Okay? That's what he was speaking about. He spoke about the gospel, and he spoke about politics and what he believed our founding fathers believed, guys. Here's the deal. And so I have a really cool Bible here, and I encourage you guys, it's even got my name right here and stuff like that. I want to thank some really great friends who got me this. And I even have it marked where I'm reading at. The founders and what they believed and what they espoused, and of the signers of the Declaration of Independence, of the signers of the Constitution, how many of them were Bible believing, regularly attending church, and it meant something a little different in those days. Bible believing believers. Those were the men who founded this country. And that's what Charlie Kirk talked about. He just talked about those guys. And yes, there's a lot of people who don't agree with that now. But guess what? That's the founding and the foundation of this country. Our country is not just, we don't just have on our money in God we trust as decoration. It's a declaration, okay? It's not a decoration, it's a declaration of what we are as a country. And the reason why that was written on our coinage was for future generations to know that they could make no mistake whether or not this is a Christian country. And Charlie Kirk was just going around telling people about that. And for that reason, this Yahoo from Utah decided he didn't want him to speak anymore. And so you've got a bunch of people running around the country now, and they're jumping up and down, and they're owners of the companies. Okay, the owners of the companies, the higher ups in the organizations are firing them one by one by one by one. And guess what, folks? There are consequences to you being evil, right? I mean, you could disagree with Charlie Kirk, and a lot of people did, okay? And that's the beauty about America, right? You can disagree with Charlie all you want. But for you to go out and publicly try to and publicly jump up and down with glee because of somebody being murdered, assassinated for speaking the truth, for speaking his viewpoint. Okay, let's say he wasn't even speaking the truth. Let's just say he was just a Looney Tune. Okay, he's just a lunatic. In America, guess what? You have that right to do that, and nobody can tell you you can't do that. You could espouse the most crazy vigilante things, and guess what? We know about people like that all over the place. People who believe this and people who believe that. Okay, but in America, you have the right to do that. And for anybody to jump up and down because somebody murdered him, assassinated him, is just ridiculous. So when we come back, folks, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the people that are out there right now who are who are on the side of Charlie Kirk. And I want you're going to love this, folks. You really are. We'll be back in a second, folks. We'll just take a real quick break. We'll be back with more of In God We Still Trust. This is Pastor Sherman Ray. We'll be back in just a second, okay? Here we go. All right, folks, we are back, and this is Pastor Sherman Ray, and this is In God We Still Trust. Thank you guys for being a part of the broadcast, and don't you love that bumper music? I just love it. I really do. It's very uplifting and just kind of makes you feel like, like doing something, right? Well, let's get on with the broadcast here, folks. I want to let you know, once again, you can jump in on the conversation on our YouTube channel at In God We Still Trust. You can write to us at InGodWeStillTrust1@gmail.com, and we'd really love to hear you and hear your voice and what you think. This is an SRN news story, and J.D. Vance. There we go. And so many of you know J.D. Vance is. He is the Vice President of the United States, and Charlie Kirk had a radio show, and his radio show was called The Charlie Kirk Show. And because Charlie is gone now, they were really kind of the team was like going, okay, well, who's going to speak for Charlie Kirk? Fear not, J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance said, you know what, I'm going to speak and I'll host his show for Monday. And so this story, it's an AP story, and it says Vice President J.D. Vance said Monday while hosting Charlie Kirk's radio show that he is desperate for national unity after the conservative political activist killing. Because it said the Republican vice president, filled in for Charlie Kirk from his ceremonial office in the Eisenhower Executive Office. And that's pretty cool. So the vice president was actually, I don't know if that's ever happened before. I don't think it has ever happened before. Here's, the relationship between Charlie Kirk and the vice president it was famous. I mean, they were really friends, literally friends. And the vice president actually was one of the pallbearers for Charlie Kirk. And, the word talks about, he says that a man shows how much he loves another man by standing next to him. And especially in times of trouble. And J.D. Vance, I don't know how he did it. I really don't. And Usha, his wife, walked Erica, Charlie Kirk's wife, from Air Force One, and as they were flying his casket back to, it's just tough. It's just tough. It's a tough thing to watch. But thank you, Mr. Vice President J.D. Vance, for stepping in and showing what it means to be a friend to a fallen comrade, especially somebody who just died for his beliefs, and it's an amazing thing. There's a story also out of Christianity Today, folks, and this is I think this talks about this and speaks of the power and the influence that Charlie Kirk had, and we're going to be talking about Charlie Kirk for I don't know how long, guys. It's just because this really is what this broadcast and this ministry is all about, and it's talking about Christians and how we do things and the impact of Christianity on this nation. It says Charlie Kirk, and this is a story from Christianity Today. It says Charlie Kirk rallied young Christians into a political movement. It says hundreds of students filled the lawn of evangelical Grand Canyon University. Many of you know of this university near downtown Phoenix Wednesday, grieving the murder of Charlie Kirk. One by one, they spoke into a mic, many praying for Kirk's wife and 2 children and sharing stories about his impact. Less than a year ago, many of these same students were sporting grins and red MAGA hats as Kirk, founder of the campus organization Turning Point USA, and we've talked about this before, visited Grand Canyon on his You're Being Brainwashed tour. His impact was astronomical, said Gwyn Andrews, who founded the campus Turning Point USA chapter at the University of West Georgia. Every single person that is in my generation knows his name. And here's the interesting thing about it, guys. And I think this is the impact that Charlie Kirk had, and something that I don't think even the Gen Zs and parents even knew. They all knew him. They all knew exactly who he was and what he did and what he spoke about. Even Gavin Newsom's son said the same thing. Many of you know Gavin Newsom. He's the governor over at California. When he started his podcast a few months ago, his son, his first guest on the show was Charlie Kirk, right? Gavin Newsom knew Charlie Kirk too, so that he knew him so well that he said, "My first guest is going to be this guy." Okay, 31-year-old stud, outspoken, savant, smarty pants, evangelical Christian, political phenom. And guess who wanted to see him? Guess who wanted to meet him? Gavin Newsom's teenage son wanted to meet him. He goes, "I want to meet him," and Gavin Newsom goes, "Well, I'm going to be up kind of early to go over to do this podcast." Yeah, you're a kid. You wouldn't get up that early. The son, from the story was told, his son was up at 4 o'clock in the morning. "I'm ready, Dad. I'm ready to go meet Charlie Kirk." When I went to work a couple days ago, the day, and this was a couple days ago. Yeah, it was Thursday or Friday. One of my coworkers, who I would have never thought in a million years, came up to me, and he's like 30 years old. I don't even think he's 30. I think he's in his late 20s, maybe 30. He came up to me, and the same thing he said. He goes, I'm really upset about this whole Charlie Kirk thing. Before the day even started. He normally is not even in the room where I'm at. But all of a sudden, coincidentally, he showed up in the room. And he mentioned that it was outrageous that that would happen to Charlie Kirk. Later on in the day, someone else came up to me, said the same thing. And once again, you know these guys, and it's another coworker, and I went, oh my gosh, this is the effect. And these guys are all in their 30s, 40 years of age. More importantly, Charlie Kirk had a profound effect upon the Christian world, the youth. Because when he went on these college campuses, guess what? He invariably was speaking to people who had a worldview that was antithetical to the Christian worldview. They were being indoctrinated into a secular worldview. And Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA came on those college campuses to tell them, you're being brainwashed. And so he would meet up with these young people, and he would say, look, this is one of his famous sayings, if you don't agree with me, I'm going to make an announcement. If you don't agree with me, I want you to the front of the line so I can talk to you first. And so it's just amazing at the end. And the effect he had on people, literally millions of people are going to be coming to the Lord in the next couple of weeks, guys. Why? Because of the Kirk impact, the Kirk effect. Why don't we change? We'll coin a phrase. The Kirk effect is what's going to happen as a result of it. Okay. Let's talk just a little bit as we're kind of winding this down. Let's talk about about the guy who actually was at the center of this whole thing, the assassin of Charlie Kirk. His name is Tyler Robinson. And Tyler Robinson, some said, he came from a conservative household, Mormon family, and his parents were just dumbfounded. As a matter of fact, his dad was the first to find out about it. His son, he recognized his son from the pictures that the FBI had revealed, and he saw, and he goes, "Oh, that's my son." And so he confronted his son, and he said, "Is this you?" And his son confessed to it. And so he called his pastor of his church, a minister of his church. He's a Mormon guy. And he contacted him, and it just so happens that his minister is actually a highway patrolman, works for the law enforcement, and turned his own son in. And a lot of people are going, well, you know what, he's a conservative guy. Well, he wasn't a conservative guy at all, guys. Matter of fact, from what we can all tell right now, he was radicalized over the last number of years. And it begs the question, guys, are these people who are on social media, in this particular case, it looks like this Tyler Robinson kid was using a platform called Discord. And I've never been on it yet. I'm going to go check it out. But when he was on this platform, he was espousing his political beliefs and his anger towards Charlie Kirk. And many of the people that they believe they're starting to do an investigation on this, but that he revealed that he might have had an opportunity to shoot Charlie Kirk. And this is what it says. A report, and this is a Breitbart story. It says a report from the Washington Post indicates alleged Charlie Kirk assassin Tyler Robinson used Discord, the platform, Thursday to tell his friends, "It was me." What he was doing is Robinson was confessing on Discord that he's the one who shot Charlie Kirk. According to the Post, Robinson messaged his friends about 2 hours before officials said he was taken into custody. The message said, "Hey guys, I've got some bad news for you all. It was me at UVU, the college that he was at, yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this." Oh, This is amazing. He says, a member of the group of individuals who allegedly received the message from Robinson took a screenshot of it and shared it with the Washington Post. And this is amazing, folks. You don't know what your kids are looking at online. You just don't. And in this case, folks, it looked as though this Robinson kid had confessed to this group that he had, this dark group that he had, that, yeah, it was me. And it looks like he was radicalized somewhere on social media, someplace. It didn't happen at his house. As far as we know, his family is a conservative, good, church-going Mormon family, and there was no radicalization as a result of his family. But somewhere along the way, either it was his relationship, his romantic relationship. It looks like he was in a transgender relationship with a partner who was transitioning to become a woman, quote unquote, a woman. But he was radicalized online, and so we need to be very careful, folks. We need to be very careful about what's going on with our kids. In addition to Robinson's alleged admission, Breitbart News reported that FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino spoke to Fox News' Bill Hammer Monday, saying people knew in advance of Kirk's assassination suspects' plans. Bongino observed there appears to have been multiple warning signs. There were people in the suspect's network, friends and family, who had stated that he had become more political. I believe some of his coworkers stated that he had some kind of detachment, and he had detached himself when the topic of politics came up and walked away from them. You see, something was going on in this kid's head. Something tweaked. And I guess let's spend just the last couple of moments talking about the political climate that we find ourselves in right now. Over the last 10 years, and we're going to say the last 15 years, we've seen an uptick in the violence and the violent rhetoric from those on the left towards those on the right. Ever since Donald Trump came down that golden escalator, those on the left have been fomenting this fear and then open hostility towards Donald Trump and what they call the MAGA Republicans. And they've been calling anybody who's a conservative, they've been calling them Nazis, from Nazis to insurrectionists to people who are a threat to democracy, that they need to be stopped. And here's the danger in all this stuff, guys. People could get killed. And in this case, it did happen. Charlie Kirk died. You can say what you want. But I believe, and as many people are believing, as a result of the rhetoric of those on the left. You've got people like Ilhan Omar, you've got Rashida Tlaib, you've got Maxine Waters, Chuck Schumer, Joe Biden, all these people, and your latest one now, you've got Jasmine Crockett, all saying the same thing. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Bernie Sanders, all of these people saying the same thing over and over again. They must be stopped. They must be stopped by all costs. Here's the problem with this whole thing, guys. Somebody's gonna take this to a point where they're gonna kill somebody, and it did happen. Or they make excuses for people doing what they do, and they go, "Oh, it's this or that." Oh, do you guys remember this? And you guys remember that? Hey, hold it. Donald Trump. There was an assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania, on his life, literally less than a year ago, and then a second attempt during the time that he was that he became president. There have been shootings, near fatal shootings, or attempts on the lives of Republicans for years now, as a result of people saying, "Yeah, we'll take them out of office. We don't want them to be in office anymore." This is America. You don't see that now. You don't see that same vitriol on the right, because guess what? Charlie Kirk was killed, and guess what has happened as a result of that? People on the right are doing one thing. They're praying. They're praying for this nation. We're praying for this nation. In God, we still trust is encouraging people. Don't take up arms. You don't take up arms against people. You certainly don't shout them down online. Guess you pray first and you ask God, God, give me insight, give me wisdom to speak to this brother, this sister, this person who maybe they just don't get it yet. Maybe they just don't get it yet. But Lord God, it's not my place to do anything to them like this. It's your place, God, because in God we still trust. This has been Pastor Sherman Ray for In God We Still Trust, folks. Once again, I want to encourage you, if this show has been something that has really spoken to your spirit, I encourage you, go ahead and write to us, InGodWeStillTrust1@gmail.com. Let us know that this show has been something that you love, that you want to hear more about. We'd love to see you to be a part of our page on YouTube, and we'll see you again soon. Okay, it's been Pastor Sherman Ray. Talk to you later. Bye bye.